feeling relaxed? Well, so are some of the farmers and their crops in India right now. A few days ago, the Indian Agriculture Minister, Radha Mohan Singh, endorsed something called Yogic farming, telling farmers they could empower their seeds with positivity. Environmental anthropologist Tamasin Ramsey spent 5 years as an NGO representative to the United Nations for the Brahma Kumaris, an Indian faith-based organisation. It's their meditation practice that's being used in yogic farming. Hi.
Well, hi.
So were you surprised to hear the Indian Agriculture Minister getting behind this kind of farming?
Not really. I mean, you know, it's part of kind of Indian cosmology and worldview, the whole kind of spiritual thing. I would be surprised if Barnaby Joyce suddenly said it, but no, I wasn't that surprised.
Look, I love the way you've just incorporated a little bit of contemporary politics there.
Well,
if Barnaby Joyce said it, you're right, we would all be alarmed. But what is it? Explain it to me, this farming practice.
Okay, well, it's a way of combining mind and heart-based meditation practices along with traditional modes of organic farming. So that's basically what it is.
Explain what happens.
Okay. Well, there are different... Should I tell you how it started? Or
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Give me some history.
All right. Well, I mean, people probably know that farming in India is pretty difficult. Farmers are in debt, a lot of suicides, that kind of thing. And there were a group of farmers who went to the meditation centre and they were struggling with debt, buying fertilisers and pesticides. So the sisters there suggested that they do meditation. The farmers refused, saying, look, I know we meditate, but this is my livelihood. I'm not going to kind of...
meditate over my livelihood.
Exactly.
I want to make some money
something more
here.
secure. So anyway, this farmer had an arid piece of land that nothing was growing on it. He gave it to the sisters and said, if you want to do it, you do it, but I'm going to get my chemicals and do my thing as best I can. So they worked on that land for a year. They empowered seed. They sat, meaning that they would put seeds in the meditation room and send intentional, positive vibrations and thoughts to that seed, that it should become powerful, that seed should bear great fruit, it should reach its ultimate potential, things like that. And then they would sit in the earth and imagine. I know it sounds wacky, but the thing is, it works.
You are reading my face, aren't you?
Well, I am.
The listeners can't read my face, but you did a very good job there. Yes, to me it sounds, well, it sounds like it lacks science.
However, that was the beginning. But then one of the farmers, it kind of spread farmer to farmer. They started having some results, and farmer to farmer, people started finding out about it. Then they did an inauguration. They like inaugurating things in India. And they invited a representative from a university, I think a dean of an agricultural university. He got interested. So for the last 4 years, there have been scientific studies on yogic farming.
Mm-hmm. And what have these scientific studies on yogic farming found?
Okay, some of the studies I know about, they had 4 different plots. They compared chemical farming, organic farming, yogic, which is meditation plus organic, and then they had a control where nothing was added at all. They found unequivocally, with some crops more than others, but there was always greater root germination, greater soil microbial activity, a higher caloric content, higher fat, higher protein, and they would get more for their crops at the market because the quality of the crop looked better. How replicable it is, I mean, it'd be amazing can you imagine trying it here? I don't know, but come on, Barnaby.
Yeah, you want to get Barnaby into it.
Yeah.
You've done some research on this yourself. You visited some Indian farmers practicing this technique.
I did.
What did you find? Are you convinced?
It's hard not to be convinced. I mean, the quantitative side is one thing that was done by the agricultural scientists, but I was kind of interested in how it affects their day-to-day life, how it affects their relationship with their livelihood. And it was interesting, I spoke a lot with the women in the families, the wives of the farmers, and they were the first ones to tell me about the change in their husbands' and fathers' behaviour. the fact that they were calmer, they weren't getting angry, there was less violence in the community, there was less frustration. One farmer, and it's the picture that you're going to put up of that couple.
On the RN Drive website, that's right.
The one. He actually, he was a bit, I don't know if I should, well, anyway, he was extremely depressed. And he just started working with this meditation practice. And as he worked with it, he developed a sense of reverence for his work, and then a deeper sense of self-respect as the instrument for that craft, so to speak. Now he treats his farm like it's a temple. And his whole demeanour has changed, his self-esteem has grown, has increased. There are reports of it reducing farmer suicide. That's an anecdotal report from the farming communities. So, I mean, it has, that kind of qualitative validity. So I just think with those quantitative results and those anecdotal stories as well, I've got bucket loads of stories about that.
This was fascinating. Well, I want to thank you for stopping in and talking to us about it. Next time I've got Barnaby Joyce on, I'm going to put it to him. See if he knows anything about yogic farming.
Bring me in. I'll talk to him.
Oh, let's do it.
Okay.
Thank you so much for joining us. And that's Dr. Tamasin Ramsey, environmental anthropologist and advocate of yogic farming practices, giving us her take on this story about the Indian agriculture minister recommending farmers in that country should empower their seeds with positivity. You're listening to RN Drive. I'm Patricia Carvelis, taking you through to 7:30.